So yes, guys, you're looking at the aftermath of a thorough playtest. Finally made my way through the entirety of the Grapple Snake Sampler Pack. 8 empty string packets lie before me. Let's take some time to go through which ones I enjoy the most and which ones not so much. Old school countdown style with my least favorite, and then we'll crown the best offering in the sampler pack. $79.95 out the door. This was a preemptive Christmas present to myself last November, so just under $10 a pop, being that, again, there were 8 in this offering. The talisman, Tor Sniper, is included. You might be shocked at where that one ended up on my list. They're all going to be polys, they're all going to be shaped, so they're going to play rather similarly, but they do vary in colors and the number of bevels, which affects playability. We'll get to that. They all spent at least 3 weeks in the string bed, giving it a fair shot, and maybe even up to 5 weeks, depending on how much I enjoyed it. So let's cue the footage and let's start this list off with my least favorite in number 8.
Told you all you'd be surprised. Liquid, bringing up the rear, my least favorite of the pack. That hexagonal shape in the gray colorway. There's something about dual colors that I think if you're a well-versed string guru, you might know by now, but the brighter the color, the more lively it plays, the softer typically, the more pop it's gonna have off the string bed. And that's something that I'm inclined to, you know, that's more speaking my language when it plays like that. So it was just an uphill battle for this string as far as me taking a liking to it. It fell flat as a pancake. Nothing really stood out to me. No fresh feeling, even off the stringer. This was the first hit here with it, and this didn't appeal to me. Not much feel and definitely not much zip off the ball. Really, you know, it felt like it had been there for quite a while. So unfortunately, quite forgettable. And the last spot, number 7, Tor Sniper. This, again, as I mentioned, probably the most well-known in the sampler pack. And I told you to be shocked, man. It, again, pretty similar. It's the gray poly, so not a lot of pop and zip off the fresh string bed. And that is what's important to me. You know, really nice hitting sesh. In this particular footage in the middle of winter. This was I think the first string that I actually tried of the pack, and man, I was walloping that Wilson 4. It felt fantastic. But what do I attribute that to? The indoors, where it's such a controlled environment, or the new FX. I think this was the second time I was hitting with my now current racket, the Dunlop FX 500 Tour. So it's hard to say what really stood out and made this such an enjoyable hit, what you're seeing right here. But you know, I think I got caught in no man's land. Nothing really stood out per se. Spin was fine, but you're gonna be hard pressed to find a shape poly that's subpar in that department anyways. Just nothing resonated with me. Off the stringer, I'm looking for liveliness. That's the whole lure of new strings now, isn't it? But this one, closer to lifeless, unfortunately. It must be something to do with the color, but a smidge forgettable for that reason. Number 6, Game Changer with the 4 sides. It's a perfect cube. It's neon colored. So now we're going to be more in my territory. But man, really weird, really sharp. I mean, abrasive is all get out. Look at that, cutting my finger on the stringer. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. But absolute pain to string and sift these crosses through the mains there, because it was so dang sharp. It was just getting jammed up on itself. Easily the sharpest string I've ever had it hit with. So really nice access to spin, but the tension maintenance, my goodness, that is where it really fell apart. Moving on to number 5, Cube. Same thing, 4-sided string. It says it's gonna go 3 to 4 pounds lighter than what you would typically string at. So I did take them up on that, stringing this one at 53 as opposed to 55. By the way, all these play tests are in the same racket at the same tension to try to give it such the most even playing field, if you will. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the lesser tension. That would make perfect sense. Maybe it was the warmer weather, because this was much later in the play test. I think this was the second to last string I threw in the FX, and the humidity and the heat was allowing these balls to fly. So that's why I rated it higher than Game Changer, even though it's just about the same strength. It's definitely as sharp, equally as annoying to string and make my way through the that stringing process. But man, the ball was flying off the string bed, so I give it the nod of approval. This is about the point where in the list where I really started to to enjoy the string. So anything from cube on forward, I actually genuinely liked. So I would give the edge to this one. Number 4, Ikanji. Really bizarre shape to this one. Reminds me of Pacific Rim. Is that a kaiju or something? I mean, look at that. It's, as far as the bevels go, it's flat and wide, and then you go to the next facet and incredibly narrow. I don't know if I explained that very well, but I'm trying to give you a super slow-mo close-up to try to get you to wrap your mind around the shape of it. Again, so annoying to string, but did give really nice spin and a little bit more pop. Here we go. That fresh feeling was apparent in this string bed. It wasn't so much in the strings that we've gone over already, which is why I didn't enjoy them as much. So nice zip, nice power, and nothing abrasive on the arm. I don't mess with elbow pain at all. If it's stinks or even has a slight smell of tennis elbow, I will dump it. Woo! How about that? Pop a volley, I'm sweating. My goodness, that was nice. So Ikanji, number 4. And here we go to the top 3, Tor M8. With that military green, the 8-sided poly. This one was the dark horse of the pack. Didn't expect it to enjoy this one as much as I did. The top 2 I could have told you I was gonna absolutely love before I even tried them. But this one took me by surprise and spent 5 weeks in the racket. Really nice tension maintenance. Still had a lot of life in it even after numerous weeks and numerous play sessions. And all around just did well. You know, spin was there. Spin's gonna be with all of these, really. It's a poly in its shape, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, the spin was lackluster on any of these. They were all fantastic on spin. Really what's gonna make or break these strings in my book is, again, the power, the fresh feeling, the pop off of it. Has to have good ball pocketing and without losing too much control and predictability. And how about this shot? Snapped it like a crocodile, baby. But Tor M8, give it a go. You might have overlooked it. Certainly surprised me for all the right reasons. Number 2, Alpha. How about that for a yellow string? The 5-sided pentagonal shape. Golden string for the golden boy. And this one, this one I fell in love with because it had it all. The pop, the zip, the fresh feeling was there. Check that box. And it was plush, it was soft, so much pocketing, and it still was super playable. It was giving me great depth without sailing any balls long. And the tension maintenance was satisfactory as well. So love a good soft string, love a good colored poly. It's gonna give you all that spin. And the drawback might be, as I said, the abrasiveness, but this one's soft as can be. So Alpha takes the number 2 spot and gives headway to the winner, which is pretty similar, and we'll get to that in a moment. Boomski, overhead smash and grab. Thank you, sir. And this was middle of the road in terms of the chronological order in which I tried it. I think this is the 4th string I tried, and kept it in the racket for quite a few weeks as well. And it was leading the pack the entire time until Liquid Neon. Oof, swept in. This was the last one I tried. Dangerous combination, a hybrid, a cube in the mains, and I believe it's a hexagon in the crosses. Tells you to string them at different tensions as well. I followed directions, and my goodness, there's something, a little bit of abracadabra, something magical about it. A couple aces for you on this one, but played just like Alpha, soft, great pocketing, but the cubed mains, maybe a little bit more spin. I mean, it's like mincing hairs, but I don't know, a little bit more spin, and of course the power and the zing off the string bed was there. So it checked all the right boxes for me, and the tension maintenance lasted quite some time as well. So really can't fault this string for anything. Again, giving me nice depth. That's something I struggle with. So it's nice to get some power from your strings without losing MS control. Anyways, wrapping up these thoughts, back to the living room.
So that's a wrap. Let me know in the comments what you thought about my assessment of these strings. If you've tried them, if you've even heard of this brand, certainly lesser known. It's a German stringing brand. They do have operations in Reno, Nevada. I think, fantastic product, and might put a ring on it and purchase a reel of Neon Dust. Still pondering whether I want to make that commitment or not. Until then, man, remember that trash bin tennis? I'll let the tennis trash you bin. See ya.